Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful call, which we've really been awaiting with excitement. So glad you can join us. And before we go into announcing more about the content, just a few words about translation. So this call is also especially in close friendship and partnership with our Ukrainian friends. So there is translation to Ukrainian here. And yeah, it's part of the way that the Pocket Project and Laurie Ellis Young have come close to each other is through our shared work in Ukraine. And the way that we have found that the breath work that Laurie will share with us tonight has supported all of us in the work in crisis areas. And so getting to know this work is precious. We look forward to sharing it with you that are able to be here tonight. And we also welcome all those of you who are watching this recording later. So today we are here for our community call, Burnout and Resilience. Breathing practices for self-regulation, not just for frontline areas, but wherever and whenever in our lives we run into challenges, difficulties, moments of crisis, that we have these techniques in our pockets to bring out and work with. Our breath is the silent and ever-present guardian of our inner world. And in times of challenge, our breath is our most immediate lifeline and bridge from turmoil to inner balance and calm. Yeah, and Laurie Ellis Young is impassioned with sharing breath as a healing and empowering modality. She began her yoga practice at the age of 14 and learned early that yoga changes bodies and that breath changes lives. She's a teacher of yoga, of mindfulness-based stress reduction. She's a global peace ambassador and author and has worked with populations as diverse as girls rescued from brothels in Cambodia, UN personnel in Kosovo, OSCE staff in Ukraine, and numerous NGOs around the world, especially in war zones. Laurie is founding director of Breathe the Change and co-founder of the nonprofit Breath Logic. Yeah, and with that, before handing directly to you, Laurie, I would just invite Daria to join us here on the screen and to share a few words as a second introduction to you about the effect that this work has had in Ukraine and is having in Ukraine. Over to you, Daria.
Yeah, thank you so much, Koshette.
Daria?
Just like
Daria?
Oksana just shared, and yeah, really nice. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Actually, you're breaking up.
Yes.
So I wonder, though it's tragic, but whether you could turn your video off so that we hear your voice clearly and strongly. Apologies.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but I've been having some electricity problems, so thank you for your understanding. And I just want to share that Laurie and her husband, George, are continuously supporting Ukrainians since first days of full-scale invasion, and they offered numerous amounts of webinars and training, and we feel forever grateful to them. And I want just to personally share that meeting Laurie in person this year really inspired me to start offering breathing practices on a daily basis. And now I'm doing it together with Oksana, our dear team member. And we notice, hear, see, and feel just amazing stories, how breathing supports people in severe stress. And Oksana and Laurie are working with military people, supporting them to come back to life. And this is not like a sugar coating, come back to life. This is a real thing that's going on. And also, I know people who are learning from us, from our morning practices with Oksana, and then giving it a rippling effect to working with widows, people who have massive losses in their lives, and it brings the sense back, going back to center. So I really feel like in being regular and offering this practice, you can truly change your life. And I just now remember then when I met Laurie in person in Guatemala, I promised Laurie to use these practices daily. I even wrote it on a piece of paper. Laurie has a picture of me doing that. And I just want to share that just practicing it daily, it really changes lives and it brings so much sense. So I feel deeply grateful and honored to be here today. Thank you so much, Kosha. Thank you so much, Laurie, and everyone for making it possible. And thank you, George and Oksana. Thank you so, so much. Yeah.
And Daria, just to add to that, the concreteness of this is that as part of our current program in Ukraine, our current project, Daria and Oksana are offering 15 minutes of breathing practice online in Ukraine for Ukrainians every single morning. And the list is now over 500 people who participate regularly, close to 600, so more people joining. And yeah, thank you so much also Daria and Oksana for this offering. Beautiful. Yeah, and with that, Laurie, if you would like to just see the screen and everybody is here for a moment before you start, we could just spend a moment in the gallery view together. Yes, just to take a moment to welcome to you all. Yeah, feel your warmth and your presence here. Thank you. Yeah, and then over to you, Laurie.
Wow. Wow. It is just such a pleasure to be able to be on this call with all of you. I want to welcome all of you here, and a special welcome for those of you on the call that are Ukrainian. My husband and I lived in Ukraine for 4 years before the invasion. And when we were there, we fell in love with the country and we fell in love with the people. And our hearts are with you constantly. So again, welcome to everybody. When we work with the breath, we work with our hearts. It's an anatomical given. Our lungs embrace our hearts. It's physical. When we consciously work with our breath, we strengthen our physical heart. We strengthen heart rate variability. And we also strengthen our energetic heart. You can say our mental or emotional. We are able to more take heart and find courage, like the cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz. So breathing together consciously is a very profound act of connection. We don't have to speak the same language. We speak the language of the heart. So what I want to do, first of all, is just talk about the definitions of burnout. So the Psychology Today defines burnout as a state of emotional, mental, and often physical exhaustion brought on by prolonged or repeated stress. So I invite each of you for a couple of moments to just go inside and to check and see where you are at right now with burnout in your life. On a scale of 0 being no burnout at all, to 10 being just maximum overwhelm, depletion, where you are at, just checking in, breathing with it.
And there's a request for you to read the definition again, Laurie.
Okay, the definition again from Psychology Today is a state of emotional, mental, and often physical exhaustion brought on by prolonged or repeated stress. The feeling of being totally overwhelmed and not knowing where your energy is going to come from. It can be a feeling of helplessness. Now, the definition of resilience is the capacity to withstand difficulties and recover easily, to bounce back. And where are you on that scale? The ability to move from being drained to being replenished. The APA, the American Psychological Association, defines self-regulation as the control of one's behavior through self-monitoring, self-evaluation, and self-reinforcement. I'll read that again. Self-regulation is defined as the control of one's behavior through self-monitoring, self-evaluation, and self-reinforcement. And physically, it's the self-regulation of feeling balance between body, mind, spirit, homeostasis, the balance with all of the systems and organs and glands in the body that creates the greatest well-being possible to move from that state of burnout to resilience. And we are so lucky, all of us, that the greatest tool for accomplishing this is our breath. And we are breathing constantly. So this session is going to be very experiential. We're going to do many different types of breathing. So I hope that you feel the richness of what the breath offers, and that at the end, you will have resonated with certain practices that, like Daria promised, that you will commit to yourself to integrate into your daily lives, and then also to share with others. So the practices that we will do have little, if any, contraindications under normal situations. Perhaps if you have neck issues or knees or something that you need to be aware of. If I'm guiding you, you can stop whatever, and you can either sit it out or do a variation, but let your guidance for your body supersede my guidance. So I'd like right now for us to breathe together. So I invite you to become very comfortable, however you're seated, to become aware of your posture, to bring your awareness to your feet. And if your feet are on the ground, feel as if your feet are planted, connected to the ground, connected to the earth beneath the ground. Being where our feet are. Not in the past, not in the present, but in this moment, in this space, wherever you are, and in this Zoom space with all of us together. So as the feet are pressing down, the crown of the head is pressing up, chin is relaxed, rolling your shoulders up and down a few times, and even let your head tip from side to side. Do any kind of stretching or movement that your body calls you to do for a couple of moments so that you can come back then into stillness. And if it is comfortable, allowing your eyes to close, please. And to soften your eyes. And if it's not comfortable to close them, to just allow your eyes to look downwards and be very relaxed. We hold so much tension in our eyes from Zoom meetings, from so much work on our phones, to consciously breathe with your eyes, softening also your belly, and allowing your awareness to drop in to where you feel your breath. And to just watch and notice if you are inhaling or if you are exhaling. Knowing the difference. And noticing also as you watch the flow of your breath, to notice the energetics with the inhale of the taking in, with the exhale of the letting go. And with each exhalation, allow that letting go take you into deeper presence, deeper awareness of inhabiting your body. Of being present. Thoughts will come, watching the thoughts, allowing them to flow through your mind, perhaps like clouds, and bringing your awareness back to noticing and feeling your breath. Beginning to feel the physical movement that happens within with the flow of your breath. noticing the transitions from the inhale to the exhale. That beautiful, constant flow of taking in and letting go. And then bringing your awareness up into your head and allow your head to tip very gently from side to side, noticing the weight of your head, noticing how your facial features move with the movement of the head. The eyes are soft and a gentle smile to tell your brain that you are safe, beginning to soothe the nervous system even more. And then bringing your head back to center and stillness. And we're going to begin that movement again, this time completely guided by your breath. The movements can be very tiny, or the movements can be long, your own rhythm. With your next exhalation, allow your left ear to drop towards your left shoulder. The inhale draws the head back up to center. The exhale lowers the right ear to the right shoulder. The inhale draws the head back up to center. And continuing from side to side, allowing your head to relax on the exhale. And the inhale, always bringing the head back to center. The movements completely directed by your breath. The eyes are soft, forehead relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Taking your time. And after your next exhalation, coming back to center and stillness. Feeling centered, feeling balanced. Crown of the head presses up. And now allow your next exhalation to draw your chin down to your chest. The inhale lifts the head back to center. The exhale tips the head back. The inhale back to center. And the exhale again, chin to chest. Continuing these movements, your own rhythm. Guided by the breath. The exhale always takes away from center. The inhale back to center. And it can be a very subtle, tiny movement, or it can be long. However your body directs you right now. And then taking your time to come back to center and stillness. continuing to follow the movement of your breath in the stillness. And then allow your next exhalation to just turn your head to the left as if to look over your left shoulder. The inhale gently brings the head back to center. And the next exhale turns the head to the opposite side. The next inhale back to center. Again, guided by your breath. The eyes stay soft, belly relaxed. As large or small of a movement as feels comfortable. And then coming back to center and stillness. And with your eyes still closed, either remaining in stillness or allowing your head to explore its own movements on your neck. Perhaps a gentle half circle, movement guided by the chin to further release tension or blocked energy in the area of the shoulders, the upper torso. What feels good? What feels nurturing, releasing of tension? And then slowly taking your time to come back to center and stillness. And then taking in a breath, holding just a moment, savoring, letting go. And again, your own rhythm. Taking in a breath through the nose, holding, savoring, letting go with a deep, slow, reverberating sigh. And then notice your next inhalation. Taking your time to allow your eyes to open. And let's transition with the breath together. With the inhale, bringing your hands up. Allow the exhale to relax down to your side. Arms just floating down. Again, the inhale lifting up. And the exhale down to the side. A deeper letting go. One more, a deeper taking in. Holding, stretching a moment. And letting go to the side. Mm. So I am wondering if any of you feel differently now than when we first started breathing. If one or two people would just like to share what they experienced, what they felt, a short share, Kosha?
Yeah, so you can share in the chat as so many of you are doing. That is beautiful. And we could also hear one or two voices here in the main room. If you would like to share, just click on the raise hand button in the bottom of the screen. Nicola, well done. I saw your hand like this and then you managed to find the button. So over to you.
I know, it's so nice. Thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you for this. It's just so beautiful. I've done breathing before and I suffer with a lot of kind of past trauma. And what I noticed doing this was different because normally when I'm breathing, I'm counting with cycles, but movement made it totally new. Like it was just a completely different experience. And I felt my body just relaxed for the first time in ages. It was just so beautiful. It was just so different. It was, I don't know what it was, but it was just the movement took it somewhere else. It gave it space to sort of deepen. I don't know. It was just very different. Thank you.
Thank you. And Wendy.
I don't really have time to be here, so I'm here because I have so much to do before I go away on Friday morning. But I just needed to relax. I've had severe trauma about 10 years ago that has never really left me. And I went to a bereavement group, a support group about 2 or 3 years ago, and they taught some breathing techniques and they just make the world of difference, but I can't really remember what we were taught. So I'm hoping to rekindle that here. And that was a good start.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, both of you, for sharing, and all of you who shared in the chat. The movement with the breath is so, so, so important. I have found myself, and I have also found that working with other people, because it is a meditation, but it is so much easier to do than just focusing on nothing. And the head movements, one of the reasons why we start with the head movements is because we tend to hold our most recent tension and stress in the area of the head, the neck, and the shoulders. And so to begin to first release that and notice, and maybe some of you notice, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was holding that tension in my neck. So this is a simple but powerful practice to take out. And what makes it even more powerful with the release and the calming that it brings is that the movement is guided by the breath. So you don't have to think about what you're doing. Your mind, your brain gets a respite. It is just the body responding to the breath. And so it's a deepening. Also, one of the benefits from this is that when we just watch our breath, our breath naturally deepens just from watching the breath. And then with adding movement to it, it can tend to even lengthen and deepen the breath more. Thich Nhat Hanh, who's known as the grandfather of mindfulness, says that the most important thing, the most important information that we can know is not facts. It is, are you inhaling or are you exhaling? It's moving from the internet. We can find out anything we want to know so easily, but it's coming into our inner net. So very empowering. Thank you all for that experience together. It's a co-regulating experience, not just a self-regulating. So what I'd like to ask you to do right now is to imagine with me, please, that the brain, the breath, and the heart get together to discuss which one of them is the most important for all of the people on the Pocket Project call for resilience and burnout and self-regulation. So the brain, breath, and heart decide to go into a cafe. Now, on the way into the cafe, the brain and the heart, they motion to each other. Of course, it's between you and me. So they get in the cafe and the brain orders a spinach soup because it's really good for the neurons. And the brain says, there's no contest. I'm in charge of everything. And it's all about the nervous system. And the nervous system is all about me. And everything is all about me. I'm the command center. I control everything. So the heart loves the color red and orders a delicious Ukrainian borscht and says, oh, dear brain, you truly are magnificent. You have some control issues, but I love you unconditionally. And although you might be the command center, I am the heart center, the center of compassion, the center of love. I am your motor. You need me more than I need you. I am the most important. And the breath puts down a glass of oxygen-rich water and decides not to prove its merit in words. So the breath just leaves the cafe. So what happens to the heart and the brain without the breath? They cry, breath, breath, please come back, come back. You are vital to everything that we do. So the breath humbly returns and says, yes, I am your fuel. You cannot do any of the magnificent functions that you perform without me. And what is important that you know is that how well I function determines how well you function. So let's drop this competition and let's work together. Help me to help you so that we can create the greatest well-being possible. So doesn't that make sense? Does that story at all make us realize the extraordinary power that is in our ordinary breath? That breath really is our superpower for everything that we do, everything that we do. So what we're going to do right now is a practice. It is one of my very, very favorite practices. It is an ancient practice. It is actually thousands of years old. It is a practice done as a warm-up for Tai Chi and Qigong. And it has maximum amount of benefits with minimum amount of effort. So with this practice, I invite you to stand up, please. And we're going to become aware of our feet again, being where our feet are. So look down to see that your feet are shoulder width apart, hip width apart, and that the toes and heels are equal distance. Usually we have a tendency to stand like this. We want to stand toes and heels equal distance for the grounding. And allow your knees to be soft so that you can kind of sink towards the ground. Again, crown of the head pressing up as your feet press down. Spine is elongated. And we're in what's called a modified horse stance. So we're actually going to pretend that we are riding a horse. So I invite you to pick up your reins. And we are just going to bounce. This is all we're going to do. The knees are very soft. So again, if you have knee issues, you can sit and just let your upper torso be what moves. Being sure to take care of yourself. Now, as you do this, as you just bounce and loosen, feel your weight, your center on your feet, the support of the earth. Just a gentle bouncing, letting your fingers really be loose, wrists loose, the elbows loose, and now letting your arms rest by your side. And allow your eyes to close, please, if that feels comfortable for you. Continuing bouncing. This is your own practice, your own journey. Following your breath and noticing the flow of your breath. The movement, the bouncing can be very gentle, or you can allow the movement to, the momentum of the movement to explore perhaps a side to side, getting the hips in the movement, the shoulders. Again, you can stay very gentle, just the bouncing, or you can even explore with your arms. Just feeling the energy of the breath, the life force of the breath, moving throughout your body. If you do have your hands up, we're a really friendly group. We can wave to each other. We're going to stay with it for at least another minute. So again, allowing your eyes to close and just explore what feels good, what is moving the energy, what is getting your breath, the prana, the life force of the breath, more fully into your hands, into your arms, your legs, your hips, your torso, your face, all the parts of the body. For the next few breaths, just give it your all, however much you want to give it. And then taking your time to come to stillness, arms either by your side or by your front, eyes closed, finding your center, feeling the energy. Feeling the flow of your breath, noticing noticing your heartbeat. Notice your grounding. Notice what you notice. Being where your feet are. Continuing to bring your awareness back to inhabiting your body, to feeling. Noticing when you are inhaling, when you are exhaling. Taking a few more breaths to feel your center, to feel your balance between front and back, side to side. Allowing time to integrate deep inside the benefits of this practice. And then taking in a breath, letting go with a sigh. Ah. And another breath. Ah. And allowing your eyes to open. And we'll end with a breath before the inhaling, the arms forward and up. And the exhale down to the side. And we'll do that 2 more times. Again, the inhale up. And the exhale, the arms float down to the side. And 1 more time. Ah. And please coming back to sitting. And Kosha, if we could ask a couple people if they would like to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you have heard the invitation and you can raise your hands. And just so you know, we'd like to keep all the sharings essential so we can hear many voices. So not more than 2 minutes. And yeah, and we'd also love to hear as many diverse voices as possible. So if you're a bit shy and you're not used to sharing, this is a special invitation to you as well. Courtney, can you turn your video on? Yes, there you go.
Hi, thank you so much for this. I am and have been suffering from chronic pain since September 2022. I am also a fitness practitioner, and things sort of started for me. I was a heavy weightlifter, and things started shifting as I got older. My body, I guess, sort of started changing. And you still want to keep up with the young self. And I noticed that my breath also and my pulse was decreasing upon both my inhale and exhale. So I currently focus a lot on it's called a diaphragmatic flick, where you try to exhale all the air out, and then you flick your rib to get the pulse to continue, or your heart rate. Because my variability is, even though it fluctuates, it's very low. Breathing has certainly helped. I use a balloon oftentimes for that exhale, laying on my back. But it is a challenge. So I truly commend people, yourselves included, that can both be present and not be super focused on the breath and just have it naturally flow. I think it's super important. Oftentimes we're just going about our days and we don't realize we're not really breathing. We're sort of stagnant, even though we're breathing and oxygen is keeping us alive. We're not. And I notice it quite often. All of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I didn't take a breath in 2 hours. So I think this is very helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just finish your sentence.
No, just I find these moments to be essential. As practitioners, as human beings, we don't breathe enough. I'm from New York City, and it is just go, go, go. And, it's also why I feel so many people are on medication, anxiety medication. And maybe if we did just take that moment and breathe. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Deborah, over to you.
Hi. I just want to say thank you for the shaking breath. There are times, because I spend a lot of time at my computer, and I just found it incredibly helpful to be able to, number one, stand up, but then to move and move a lot in a really short period of time. So I found that very, very helpful. I love shaking.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. And it's just, thank you so much for bringing yourselves present here and sharing. It's wonderful to hear.
Hello. Hello, Kosha. Hello, dear Laurie. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's like a breath of fresh air for me to be today. And thank you for stressing that breath and movement is very important. I learned it on myself, like anxious self. Like it's very hard to sit in meditation, but with movement, I can breathe, I can do centering practices, and people with whom I am witnessing them, especially women, it's so helpful to share with them this experience I learned from you, Laurie, that we are breathing and moving, and you can see how one's nervous system just calms down because at this very moment, it's actually safe. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. You know, I would like to show what it looks like when we don't have life force, when we're holding our breath. When we have our life force of our breath going through the body, into our fingers, into our toes, all through our body, our muscles, our bones, our organs, our glands, we are much more resilient. As we heard with the story before, the breath is our fuel. So that's why one of the reasons why that practice is so important. And also I want to say that in dealing with trauma, so often when we experience trauma, after the trauma, we shake. If any of you have ever noticed that. And that is the natural wisdom of the body wanting to bring the nervous system back into balance, to soothe the nervous system. And so there is a lot about bouncing and shaking that is being studied for working with trauma. A Dr. Richard P. Brown, who is a psychiatrist in New York at Mount Sinai Hospital, uses shaking in his work with refugees. And the one thing that I love about it is it's fun. It does have maximum amount of benefits with minimum effort. And if you like music, put on music that you love, coffee break, shaking break. Integrate the practice into your daily life and you will really experience some benefits and changes from this. So I'd like to move on to another practice. And I want to preface it with saying that a health guru named Dr. Andrew Weil, who's known for food and supplements and medicine and all kinds of, whatever can affect our health, was asked if he could limit his advice to just one tip, what would it be? And he said, learn how to breathe correctly. So the first step in learning how to breathe correctly is just becoming conscious and aware, that simple breath awareness of mindfulness and mindfulness-based stress reduction that we have already been playing with in a number of different ways, is just watching our breath. I remind myself, honestly, hundreds of times throughout the day to come back to my breath, to come back to my grounding, to come back to inhabiting my body. It is a practice, a constant practice. So that's the first step. Realize if we're holding our breath and breathe. The second step, though, and the third step are learn to breathe low and slow. Low is breathing in our bellies, utilizing our diaphragm. Physiologically, if we are breathing in our bellies, we cannot be in a state of full-on panic because it's about the brain. When we're breathing in our belly, which we do when we laugh, a message is sent to the brain that we are safe, and the brain does all that it does to help us move from fight or flight to rest, digest, relax. And I want to show you, we're going to have a quick lesson on the brain and the breath 101. So we're going to divide our brain in half. Not left to right, not hemispheres, but we're going to divide our brain from a bat brain, our hind brain, our reptilian brain, millions of years old, wired to help us survive, which is extremely important when we are in danger, but is overworked for most of us in the modern day. The front of the brain is our developed brain, our newest brain, our prefrontal cortex, our wizard brain, wired to help us thrive. Now, the hindbrain, when we are breathing with the reptilian brain in control, we are usually not conscious of our breath. We are usually either holding our breath or breathing very rapid or shallow in our upper chest. When we become conscious of our breath, like all of the practices that we have done so far, we are using our brain that helps us to thrive, that helps us to move from the sympathetic nervous system of the freeze, fight or flight, to the parasympathetic nervous system of rest, digest, relax, build resiliency, calm. So that's the short version, 101. And now what we're going to do is practice some belly breathing. Normally, we have more control over the exhale than we do the inhale. So we have already engaged several times in the practice of sighing. So sigh with me now, please, inhaling through the nose, and let us sigh as long as you can. And we're going to do it again. And the next time that you sigh it out, with your hands on your belly, contract your belly in towards your spine as you sigh. And when you think that you've exhaled as much as you can, squeeze the belly in and try to sigh out a little bit more. And then notice the inhale is just a relaxed expansion of the belly. And then we're going to contract back in, pulling the navel towards the spine. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling as long as you can. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let the inhale be a relaxed expansion of the belly. And again, sighing. Your own rhythm, your own speed. The hands on the belly, really feeling. This can take a while sometimes to get the breath in the belly if you have not been breathing there. For some of you, it might be very easy. One of the best ways to breathe in the belly is by laughing. And now as we do this, we're going to try and see if we can get a longer exhalation by humming. Squeezing, 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 squeezing. Let the inhale be relaxed, expansion. So long as you can, squeezing, 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 squeezing. And now just going your own rhythm. I'm just going to be in silence. As you play with belly breathing yourselves with any sounds that you might want to make of humming or sighing or sounding like a tea kettle. Playing with deepening your breath, low and slow. And then taking in a deep breath, holding it for a moment, letting go. Another sigh. And then allowing your eyes to open. So I want to say a couple more things about sighing. Sighing is a natural wisdom of the body also, which sometimes sighing has been given a bad rap in society and people stifle their sighs. But the sighs is our innate wisdom of the body wanting to release and let go of tension and stress. And then what happens if you notice that with a long sigh, you are then able to take in a deeper inhale, more oxygen, more prana, more life force. And then with the letting go, that release of stress, of tension. Now there's also the sigh that we have after we've eaten some really great chocolate, or we've petted our cat or our dog, or we've had a massage, and it's that sigh of contentment that is a rejuvenation practice. And our brain releases oxytocin and feel-good hormones from that sigh of contentment. So please, I ask you, don't stifle any sighs, whether it's for letting go or whether it's for contentment, and to program yourself to, when you are noticing stress, use a sigh as a way of deeper, slower breathing. And one last aspect of the low and slow breath is a relaxation breath in which we will count and make our exhale twice as long as our inhale. So I invite you again to bring your hands to your belly, and we're going to inhale to a count of 3 and then exhale to a count of 6. And you can do it a regular just through the nose, through the mouth, with a sigh, with humming, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we'll end with a count of 4 and 8 to see if that feels comfortable. So inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, I want to say that the sighing and the humming, what they do to help us be in parasympathetic, the rest, relax, digest, is they activate the vagus nerve. And the reverberation of the vagus nerve, the longest nerve throughout the body, it helps us, for those of you who are familiar with a polyvagal theory, to move from the freeze, fight or flight to social engagement, the state of social engagement, and being more self-regulated, able to co-regulate. So the last breath that I would like to share with you, please, is one of the most important breaths that I feel that I can share. It's a very simple breath the Ukrainians have found it very powerful. And I will just share that a man, a very significant teacher who worked with this breath, was 14 when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. And in a split second, he lost his family, he lost his friends, he became filled with hundreds of shards of glass, and he lost his way of life. And for 2 years, he lived in hell and in total despair. And after 2 years, he began to heal by this breath. It is called the Bitbot breath. He consciously breathed in peace and he breathed out pain over and over and over and over again. Just the feeling of breathing in peace, however that could feel, and breathing out pain, whether it was physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. He did that for 2 years, and then he dedicated the rest of his life. I met him when he was 70. The rest of his life to promoting peace on the planet. So I'd like us, please, to, again, if it feels comfortable, closing your eyes. And as you inhale, just say to yourself, I breathe in peace, sensing that feeling. As you exhale, I breathe out pain. Whatever type of pain it may be, or whatever is not of peace. And if you want, you can bring your hands into the movement also. The inhale, breathing in peace, hands up, and the exhale, breathing out peace, the hands lower, however feels right. Continuing in whatever way feels nurturing for you, feels releasing for you. Perhaps it is a sense of breathing in lightness, breathing out heaviness. Maybe it's a breathing in a color and breathing out dark. And then together to end, we will all together breathe in peace and breathe out a wish of peace for the world, for all sentient beings. We'll do it 2 more times, breathing in peace and breathing out that wish surrounding the world with a desire for peace. And once more. And breathing out peace. So I thank you all so much for your presence inside, and your presence here with all of us together. I think the Pocket Project and my gratitude, my blessings. Thank you.
Ah, Laurie, thank you so much. This felt like a wonderful gift that you brought to us. And And I think also for all those of us who are in challenging situations, you know, we also have quite a few people from Africa here, from Kenya, from other places around the world. So all of you, and also all of those practitioners within the Pocket Project who are working on collective trauma integration processes and different realms, I feel that all of this is so helpful to all of us. And just as somebody said here, you know, I've been very used to doing pranayama exercises, but often with counting, and this connection to movement is beautiful. So thank you so much, Laurie. But I think there are many people who would have more questions, who would also like to learn further with you, and maybe we can open another opportunity through the Pocket Project. I think it would be very, very precious. So thank you, Laurie, because it has been many, many, many years that you've been developing these techniques and gathering them in and bringing them to people in places of great need. So huge thank you to you for being here tonight, sharing them so generously with us here. And it's just the continuation of a path of friendship that we've been walking for a while and that we will deepen. So thank you to you.
Thank you so much, Kosha. Thank you so much to the amazing Pocket Project, because the work you are doing is so transformational and changing lives, and I feel changing the world. So delighted to be here with you, and anything that I can do, I will be so delighted to. So
Beautiful. Yeah. And also, I just want to thank our two translators tonight, Olena and Elena. Also, I want to give thanks to Stella and Maria, who've held the space in the background, and Ben, who's been here as our tech host, Daria, Oksana, all of you who are playing very important roles in our projects in Ukraine, and everybody else for your presence here tonight. Yeah, and lastly, you know, we are a non-for-profit organizations, and to keep allowing us to offer these kinds of calls and resources for free, we are deeply grateful if you are able to resource us so that we continue to resource many others. Yeah, and with that, let's take a final look at our whole screen here. Yeah. Huge thank you to you all. Be safe. Breathe peace. Breathe spaciousness into your bellies. Be well. Thank you.